must continue to make certain declarations to qualify and can make partial payments to avoid eviction through, again, June 30th. And the declarations are that they're having difficult paying because the COVID crisis, could be because they lost their job or cut hours, what have you. They got sick and so on. The legislation will use federal funds to pay up to 80% of back rent accumulated between April 1 of last year and March 31st of this year. So landlords who choose to participate in that program can receive 80% of back rent owed due to the COVID impacted tenants unable to pay full rent since last March. In exchange, the rental debt accumulated by their tenants will be dismissed and tenants will be protected from eviction through the end of June. Tenants with landlords that decline to be part of the program can still qualify for eviction protection by submitting declarations and paying at least 25% of their rent. So this was the compromise that was made with the apartment association and the real and some of the housing groups, essentially making landlords almost whole at 80% of the back rent. In some cases, they won't get any of that if their tenant truly doesn't have an ability to pay. Come July 1st, if at that point the tenant can't pay, then they'll get moved out, they'll get evicted. But if they can pay and the landlord accepts 80%, then everything goes back to normal, so to speak, July 1st. And we're hoping that by July 1st, we'll see what happens, and that'll be enough time on that extension. I want to mention a little bit, I'm going to go a little quickly, so feel free to put questions in the chat and we can come back to them, what have you. So that way I can make sure we hit everything, but I want to give you a rundown of different things we've done over the last couple months. In December 2020, the governor announced the following: hiring tax credits via the Main Street Small Business Hiring Tax Credit and automatic sales tax extensions, temporary tax relief, including an automatic 3-month income tax extension for taxpayers filing less than $1 million in sales tax, and broader opportunities for businesses to enter into interest-free payment arrangements, creation of a $500 million COVID-19 relief grant program administered by the Small Business Advocate for small businesses that have been impacted by health and safety restrictions implemented as a result of the pandemic, whether it's a full closure or even partial closure. We actually increased that as a legislature with the governor by another $575 million in January of 2021. So that's already over $1 billion to small businesses to keep them from closing. Even if their doors are closed, keep the business from closing so they can make it through the pandemic. We also extended eligibility for California Earned Income Tax Credit to self-employed and small business owners, waived franchise tax fees for small and medium-sized businesses, and exempted Paycheck Protection Program loans provided to California small businesses under the CARES Act. And so we didn't want them to be punished for taking PPP loans if they needed additional help. So in January 2021, California Competes Tax Credit was implemented during an emergency budget action we took, incentivizing businesses to locate in California to stay, grow, and create quality full-time jobs in the state. And it created a Cal Competes grant program for $430 million to support job creation and investments in infrastructure, encouraging businesses to open or to bring back employees. Extended the Main Street Small Business Tax Credit. We also expanded sales tax exclusions to the Treasurer's Office. And in February, we announced fee waivers for licenses, 2 years of fee relief to about 59,000 restaurants and bars, as well as over 600,000 individuals working in barbering and cosmetology, obviously hard hit industries, nail salons, hair salons. Many of those are small businesses or independent workers. We also increased $400 million to provide stipends for each child enrolled in the state subsidized childcare. So that's some of the things that were done, and that's just a partial, and doesn't include, of course, the federal assistance that came in for businesses. We also announced the Golden State Stimulus Plan, which allowed for direct payments to those most affected by the COVID pandemic. It included in the group will be individuals left out of stimulus payments last year, those making under $30,000 per year, and households that received EITC payments in 2020. And an additional $600 grant is available for individuals enrolled in SSI or cash assistance programs. And a lot of this is, simply to keep people from going homeless, right? This is the bare minimum to keep people so they can pay the rent to the landlord and things of that nature. And the last thing I'll mention on kind of The budget front of things we did is school reopenings, obviously a hot topic. In early March, we worked with health experts, school employees, teachers, and local education partners in an effort to figure out the best way for kids to get back to school safely. We passed AB 86, which provided $6.6 billion in funding and incentives to give local school districts the tools and resources needed to begin in-person instruction and address learning loss. It does not force local districts to open if they're not comfortable with it, but it provides guidelines and funding as an incentive for school administrators to get teachers and children back in the classrooms. Over $2 billion of the dollars is to go to reopening right now, basically by April 1st. If schools, districts decide not to open by April 1st, for every day they don't open, they lose 1% of potential funding they would get. And then additional money is for learning loss. Like, the students, no matter what, no matter how well a teacher is trying, there's going to be a lot of learning loss through distance learning. We want to make sure we get kids back up to speed. And so there's a lot of resources for that going into the next year, as well as money to make a safe environment for the schools as they reopen. So that's just kind of a quick run through on some of the budget items we did as an emergency earlier this year. And you also may have heard of the stimulus funds from the federal government is huge in terms of getting money into the pockets, especially of families with children. And we also had the Project Home Key, which is to help buy old motels or create some of the tiny homes that we've seen, the tiny home complexes, to get homeless off the street. And so the city of San Jose is taking advantage of that and created several of these private Project Home Key sites for transitional homeless housing. And then on legislation, there's a couple I want to mention. The one that's probably getting the most attention is my AB 1400. It's called CalCare. It's a single payer healthcare program. We are the most expensive healthcare system in the world, and we certainly don't get the best outcomes. We're 46 in life expectancy. We literally have millions here in California that either don't have health insurance or don't have meaningful access. And what I mean by meaningful access is they might have an insurance card, but the deductible is $6,000 or copays are through the roof. And so that's the bronze Affordable Care Act package. So if you have to get the Affordable Care Act and you don't have money, you get the bronze package. $6,000 deductible basically means for a lot of families, a lot of low-income folks, it's not really meaningful access. I can have the business card of a Lamborghini salesman. That means I have access to a Lamborghini. I can look at my bank account. It doesn't really mean I have a Lamborghini, right? I mean, that's kind of a silly parallel there, but the reality is that we want to make sure that everyone has access by cutting out waste. As much as a third of our cost is complete in waste, not to mention administrative costs, insurance company costs. You talk to any doctors. I don't know if you have friends that have been doctors for a while. They spend hours a day on the phone with insurance companies. So you end up having insurance companies overriding doctors, telling us what we can and cannot be approved for, telling us as patients to open a GoFundMe account. It's absolutely ridiculous and immoral, and financially makes no sense. And so the idea is not government-run healthcare. You still have the Kaisers and the private doctors and the public, Valley Medical and all that. It's just it's the paying system, which a lot of countries do. Canada, for example, does it by state. And the way that I'm foreseeing doing it through the legislation and through, will take several years probably to actually get all the funding sorted out, was that the funding, whether right now we already pay as a state approximately $400 to $450 billion a year for healthcare every year. And everyone's not covered. It's not, a lot of people don't have access. We still have, millions that go bankrupt in this country, including hundreds of thousands in our state because of medical bills. It's estimated that a single payer program would cost around $400 billion, so a lot less. And it would cover dental and vision for everyone. My father's a senior on Medicare. He doesn't get dental. He had to pay several $1,000s for some major dental procedure he had to have. And then he got an infection, went to the hospital. Guess what? The reason why, is because if you don't get regular dental checkups, it leads to other health issues. The fact that we don't treat dental as a major part of healthcare is a major problem. And so our current single payer system will cost approximately $400 billion, include dental, include long-term care. I used to chair the Aging and Long-Term Care Commission. It's a disaster. We don't have a long-term care system. People go bankrupt, or their children end up, spending away their life savings to take care of the grandparent or a parent, because it's enormously expensive. Assisted living, skilled nursing costs about as much as 200 a day. And then even at-home care costs a fortune if you want to nurse at home, or even partial care at home. And so, that's why the bill is so important, is because we do have a current system that puts profit above all else. It commodifies us. The pharmaceutical, we have very little control over the pharmaceutical costs or rising healthcare costs. So that's, because that's such a noteworthy bill, I certainly wanted to bring it up. But I have around 15 bills that we've introduced this year. Some are related to the environment. Some are related, again, to healthcare. We have some that are related to textbooks and textbook affordability for our students, and so on. So, if you follow my social media, you'll see on occasion we'll post about the different bills. I just had a press conference today on a bill to create more access to open spaces in our state. It follows up a bill that I introduced last year, AB 3030, to protect 30% of our land and water in the state. It's a recommended amount by bioscientists around the world. And even though the bill didn't make it to the governor's desk, the governor signed what's called an executive order to actually start moving, asking his administration, the departments, to actually start moving on protecting 30% of our land and water. And when Biden got elected, after he was sworn in, he actually he made a federal goal of that 30% as well. I also signed onto a bill by Senator Weiner to phase out fracking in our state. Fracking is an environmental disaster, and to move us in that direction. And there's a lot of other things that I'm working on, but I'll leave it at that and see if you have any questions. We do have Stacy here who put her phone number and email address. Feel free, please, to note that if there are things that do occur that you need some help on. I will make one last note, is that we are working with some of the folks. I know, the Japantown folks are most active with it, but it has to do with the railroad, the train noise. And I know there's several of us at different levels that, Congressman Lofgren, Supervisor Chavez, Councilman Perales, and myself and Senator Cortese, we're all working on a plan to see how we can try to find some funding for noise abatement along that corridor. Because as many of you know that have worked with our railways, the railroads, we have very little leverage because the Federal Railway Administration over what the railroads do. It takes us sometimes months or years to even help to do a cleanup along the tracks. And I know that because, and Rich will know this, down in South San Jose, along the tracks, man, even to do graffiti along the sound walls took forever. And so we're trying to help out along the entire corridor on some of the noise abatement. But anyway, that was a lot of stuff I just spewed out. And so just wanted to see in the next few minutes if any of you have any questions.
Yeah, Osh. Go ahead.
Osh, I just got off a meeting. Oh, by the way, hi. We know each other, so
Yes.
how you doing?
Good.
I just got off a meeting with the Friends of the Five Winds Trail and Senator Cortese regarding, well, you brought it up, railroads. Now this railroad is not active, but we certainly want to make a trail out of it.
Yep.
And the city has gotten a grant for $4.14 million to do the preliminary design and studies on getting it done. And we have an ATP grant going through the process in Sacramento for 36 million, I think, which would build out most, if not all, the trail. We'd sure love your support. This obviously comes through our neighborhood. We're all very much concerned about the current state of the former railroad right-of-way. So Senator Cortese has stressed his support for it, even from when he was Supervisor Cortese, and we'd love to get you on board as well.
No, absolutely. I've always supported that trail. I remember all the work that went into even preserving the portion and making sure that to protect the old light and all that stuff, all the work that's gone into it. Fully support it, and we'll contact Supervisor Cortese's office, and if it's a matter of a joint letter or what have you. We were informed, and we told the same thing to the the Japantown folks that we've been instructed this year because of all, I mean, the several billions of dollars that we're paying out in terms of COVID response, that we've been told that we can't count necessarily on district budget requests to be granted, but it doesn't mean we can't make the request. And it's always better to make the request, get it on record, get it on file, so that if there is, in fact, we saw it just earlier this year, we have a budget surplus more than we expected. So if that happens again, every time that happens, it's like, okay, well, let's start looking at these district requests. And so I fully support that project. I fully support, and we'll work hand in hand with Supervisor Cortese, because I think that has a huge opportunity of being such a great, I mean, I've walked it with y'all, I mean, of being a great connecting greenway that will connect several neighborhoods in such a beautiful way. But I know it'll take many millions to make it done in a manner that that you all deserve.
Besides the neighborhood connecting, remember, we'll also connect the neighborhoods to the rural spaces, because the Five Winds Trail connects to the Penitentiary Creek Trail, which gets you up to the Ridge Trail and Alum Rock Park and all of the other amenities, all the other trails that we have up in the East Foothills.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree, 100%. And that's part of the goal. Is I think when you kind of take that 30,000 foot level, is you see the green spaces, and they're just small little islands. And how do we connect them, both in terms of trails like bicycle trails, what have you, but literally, how do we create greenways that connect these communities to larger regional assets? 100% correct.
And just to briefly mention, when Senator Bell was still in office, Osh did join on with the San Jose delegation, the state legislature delegation, to support funding for Five Winds Trail. So count us in, email me, and then we could go from there. But that's something that we've supported in the past and will continue to support.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I've got a question about AB 1400. I was very excited when I heard that you had introduced that, and I realized it's a heavy lift from introducing it. So what's the, without going into, I'm sure you could speak to this for an hour and a half, but how do we get from where we are now to implementation? Who's on board now? What obstacles would you fix? Because I think that would be a boon to the California economy, let alone the benefit of having health access for everybody. So,
and Jeff, and you hit it on the head right there, though, because I'm telling employers, I mean, I don't know how many of you are employers or have had to deal with contracts with employees, how much money is spent to provide healthcare, and every year you can provide less and less, and you have to pay more and more. When I was on the city, we'd have to go into closed session regarding union contracts, and half our time would be spent on healthcare costs and co-pays, and it's draining our businesses, especially our small businesses. So it's absolutely a boon to the business community and to employers. Now, it is the heaviest of lifts. You have to remember, when I mentioned how much we're paying now and what we're getting as opposed to how much we could pay and get, well, there's someone profiting off that, and they're profiting a whole bunch. They're not going to let this happen without them furiously fighting it. And that's why, people think I'm crazy for introducing it. But at the end of the day, if I'm in the legislature for a few more years, knock on wood, with your blessing, I want to do something meaningful that's actually going to change lives and improve the quality of life. So let me get back. So it's going to take a lot. We do have about 20 of us. I'm very happy that Assembly members and senators have signed on. Dave Cortese is a co-author. Alex Lee is a joint author, which is like the highest level of support. And the only reason why Cortese can't be is because he's in the Senate. Only Assembly members can be joint authors. But Dave's been great. And so getting legislator support is one thing. Educating the community, getting different organizational support. For example, just today, the city of Oakland voted to endorse it. So get the city of San Jose to endorse it, get the county to endorse it, so that when I go to committee on this, what happens is there's a staff analysis and a staff report. In the back, it'll show a long list of who's supporting and who's opposing. Well, we want a very long list of who's supporting, and I would love to have my city and county be in support, because Oakland's already done it, San Francisco's on the way, LA City Council is working on it. I think the Board of Supervisors in LA is going to be working on it. And so that's something you all can do as a neighborhood association, is call on, it could be Councilmember Perales or it could be one of the supervisors, Supervisor Chavez, what have you, say, hey, we would love to see if you'd consider putting a resolution before your board or before your council in support. And so that's absolutely something you can do in the short term to show support. But you're 100% right. This is going to be a many years effort, because even if, and this is a huge if, this is going to be a huge, huge battle. But even if tomorrow it passed the legislature and Governor Newsom signed it, it's not like you get healthcare the next day. Now we have to figure out the funding piece of it, which is federal waivers, which is dealing with things like the GAN limit and all these other constitutional issues, is to figure out, okay, it's not as simple as saying, well, there's a $450 billion pot of money. By the way, we already spend over $200 billion a year right now in state and federal funds. But it's not as simple as saying, okay, we have a $450 billion, let's move that over from pot A to pot B. Well, no, it's like 10 different streams of revenue. So it's extremely complex. But until we say we support single payer and until we design the system, there's no reason why the federal government would give us a waiver. There's no reason for us to go into the difficult funding questions if we're not even saying that we want it. So my bill actually designs the system. If you look at the bill, it'll tell you what it covers. It sets up a commission. It also has cost controls in there. So it'll actually have a mechanism to actually control costs, something we don't have now. It actually has incentivization for doctors to go into underserved areas, including urban areas or rural communities. A lot of rural communities don't even have doctors. They have to drive for hours. That's not fair. We want to make equity a major piece of this. And so get as many organizations. If you're part of organizations and you want me or someone on my staff to present, it could be any kind of organization, because we're getting a variety of organizations, whether they're environmental, political organizations, certainly city councils, as I mentioned. We're happy to share. And it's a lot different than it was. Even recent polls show as many as half of doctors now support some form of single payer, because they see what's happening. They can't take, they want to take care of their patients. They're spending all the time arguing over whether they even can take care of their patients with the insurance company. So anyway, as you can tell, you're correct, Jeff. I can talk a lot about it. And if any of you want to convene, maybe neighborhood commissioners can help do it, get different neighborhood associations, I'd be happy to do one presentation just on single payer to a group of San Jose folks. I'd love to do that.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Oh, we got one hand. Oh, no, we don't have a hand. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, Ash, is there another state? Is that similar to what Massachusetts has? Or is there somebody who's in the forefront of this? Or state, I mean.
No, that's a good question. Massachusetts has something more similar to Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. And so that was, Affordable Care Act was loosely based on the Massachusetts model. No other state has this. Vermont tried it when Obama was in office. They weren't able to get the funding because they couldn't come to the agreement with the federal government. But we're in a different place now. I think that because of the pandemic, we've seen how the pandemic has truly exposed our healthcare system for what it is. And I think that you're already seeing that with the Biden administration, they're willing to push the envelope more on some of these issues, more so than the Obama administration was. And look, the Obama administration got Affordable Care Act. There's no doubt that provided healthcare for many millions. But I don't think it went far enough. But at that time, that was politically feasible. I think now, based upon the pain you see, the experience, and based upon the fact that demographically, if you think about this, Medicare is actually a very efficient system. My dad, like I said, is on it. Very low administrative costs, around 3%, compared to 20, 30% plus in the private system. And Medicare, as cost effective as it is covering the most expensive patients, our elderly. Like my father's gonna be 77 this year, has multiple health issues. So if it's able to be that cost efficient, covering the most expensive patients, imagine when you can have a single payer type system across the entire population, including 20-year-olds that may go to the doctor, they break a leg, but otherwise hardly have to go to the doctor, but they pay in, and when they need it, it'll be there. So, and so I think that, we have an opportunity to kind of build off of what Vermont did, because Vermont did pass it. They passed the policy, and that's what I'm doing, trying to get the policy back. But at the same time, I'm working with stakeholders, the speaker's office, on a conversation on a path for funding right now. And keep in mind, having Biden, not only Biden there, but Attorney General Becerra, about to be appointed as a cabinet secretary, Health and Human Services, he's already on record in support of single payer. He's the one that would give the waivers to the state. So we have an opportunity that we've never had before, and we just got to go for it.
Outstanding.
Well, as California goes, so does the nation. So
It's correct. Absolutely.
Well, we've got a couple more minutes. Anybody have any final questions, or you want to conclude your remarks?
Yeah, I'll just wrap up. It's great to see everyone on Zoom. I can't wait to see you all in person again. Seriously, I hope whenever your turn comes up on the vaccine, you get it, and I hope you and your family stay healthy. It's a tough time, but we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So I look forward to coming downtown and coming to Roosevelt Community Center and seeing you all in person, and maybe even breaking some bread and continuing our great relationship with each other. So thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's give him a Zoom clap. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Ash.
Assemblyman.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next up is our esteemed, the esteemed president of the Silicon Valley Crime Stoppers, Dee Barragan, who just so happens to be a board member. Let's see if I can do this right. She's got a presentation, and oh God, I am so lame at this. Hold on a second. I got it here. I have to share first. And here we go. Oh, share it, Jeff. Okay, there you go. All right, I'll advance it when you're ready. Take the floor.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thanks for joining Roosevelt Park Neighborhood Association. And I'm excited to present a presentation on the Silicon Valley Crime Stoppers program. Jeff, go ahead and go to the next slide. So I want to give a little history on Silicon Valley Crime Stoppers. The first Crime Stoppers program began in September of 1976 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and has since grown to include over 1,000 cities and 13 countries worldwide. In September of 1982, San Jose launched our local program, originally the San Jose Crime Stoppers, in partnership with the San Jose Police Department. On August 17, 2000, San Jose Crime Stoppers changed their name to the Silicon Valley Crime Stoppers, and it's to reflect a newly expanded program and partnerships with all of the law enforcement agencies in Santa Clara County. Next slide, Jeff. So our program uses a P3 tips software, and that's what that logo is there on that corner. So to stay connected, stay anonymous, if you want to submit a non-emergency crime tip, you can submit one with the following three methods. One, you can go to our website, www.svcrimestoppers.org, and you can submit a tip on that very first page on the website. Those tips go directly to the San Jose Police Department and are anonymous. We don't ask for information. Method number two would be to download the P3 Tips mobile app, and that is easy to download on, I think it's the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. You can just look for that logo, the P3 Tips blue and white logo, to download that. The other method is to use our tip line, which is a little bit of I would consider it more of the outdated version of reporting crime tips. But that phone number is 408-947-STOP, also 7867. That will go directly to a voicemail that is not manned every second. So if you may leave a tip on the voicemail and maybe not, you can't get a call back because we don't want your phone number. So you would have to definitely call that tip line back in hopes that somebody will pick it up.
Hey, Dee, is that tip line maintained by Crime Stoppers, or does it ring at the police department, or who checks it?
The police department will check that.
Okay.
So that phone line is not always manned, and that's why the The new and improved method is definitely to report online on our website or to use the mobile app. A tipster will always remain anonymous as we do not ask for personal information to submit a crime tip. The San Jose Police Department will take tips received and forward information to the appropriate unit or agency. So let's say if it's a traffic fatality, like a pedestrian maybe got hit and killed. So that obviously will go to a different unit than like a regular homicide detective. There are also times where there's different cities, like the city of Sunnyvale may have a tip, and so our police department will forward it over to their liaisons. A little bit about our Silicon Valley program at work. We normally can't say too much about what cases receive certain tips to the public, because we do try to keep everything anonymous. But I do want to highlight one case that does really highlight our programs, highlight what we do best for Crime Stoppers. In 2019, we had a guy who vandalized the Veterans Memorial in downtown San Jose. I don't know if any of you remember this particular case. He did a really good job at vandalizing, and it was definitely a felony that led to his arrest there. So it was our program that received a tip, and it led to a successful arrest. And that is what I'm highlighting here in this slide. And this is what we do best with our program. Next slide. A little bit of our program mentions in the media. Normally, you'll see this like in the Mercury News, not so much in the actual media interviews, but definitely in press releases from San Jose Police Department, where that arrow leads to. It says those wishing to remain anonymous can leave a tip with Silicon Valley Crime Stoppers. It does highlight our tip line, the 408-947-STOP, or on our website, which is the preferred method. Next slide. Well, and a little bit about our rewards. So our program pays cash rewards up to $1,000 when information is supplied and leads to an arrest using the Crime Stoppers program. So the tips that we receive, we want to make sure that we're paying out to tipsters who supply information through our program. That's how it all kind of goes full circle. Is there any questions about the rewards part really quick? And if not, that's okay, because we'll come back.
You say you don't collect information. I think it's clear that you do get assigned a tag or a moniker, a series of numbers, letters, whatever, so that you can check on how your tip resulted.
Correct.
So you are known. I mean, you are known as a nebulous entity without a name until which time is maybe you get paid for it.
So you actually are issued a code number or sequence when you use the P3 tips method, or if you use it online through our website. If you are calling through the old-fashioned tip line, you will not get you won't get a code yet. So it's a little bit, that's why I said it's not the preferred method anymore to call that tip line, because it is just a voicemail. Now, I don't check those voicemails, but I'm sure that there's people that give their information. I couldn't tell you how frequent it happens, but you're taking a chance when you use the voicemail method. Does that answer kind of the question there regarding the rewards? So the next slide is about the board of directors. The board of directors oversees the program. Next slide. We are responsible for fundraising. Our two fundraisers are the Law Enforcement Awards Dinner, which is a picture of our awards dinner from last year. It was well attended, and it was one of our best yet. And the second fundraiser is the Crab and Pasta Feed, which I want to highlight. Melanie, who is part of Roosevelt, she actually chairs the Crab and Pasta Feed fundraiser. She does a really great job on that. Next slide. Community engagement. I think we have a group of our famous people here. So the board is also responsible for engaging with our communities to create program awareness. And the picture that we are highlighting here is our neighborhood group when we did our very first Take It to the Streets walk event. Another highlight of community engagements, there is where I'm reading a storybook to some children at a school, which was really fun. And we also talked about the Crime Stoppers program to the Worcester Neighborhood Association. So those are those highlights. Next slide. The board of directors is a non-paid volunteer board made up of dedicated volunteers who serve the public and share the safety mission, public safety mission. There's a picture of Melanie, and we were actually out at the National Night Out in 2019 with the Milpitas Police Department. It was really fun. Next slide. And at the very end, we have a picture here with our new chief, Tony Mata, and also with the Milpitas Police Department. Melanie and I, we participated in the Citizens Academy for the Milpitas Police Department. And it was really, really, it was a really cool experience. We got to drive the police cars, and we definitely won't forget that. But a question to the neighborhood is, how do you promote safety in your neighborhood? And I think that's just a general question for everybody as we move forward. And as we have challenges in our neighborhoods with safety. So, you know, that this is a method. Our Crime Stoppers program is definitely a tool to use if you want to stay anonymous. There are many different communities that don't feel safe coming forward. I think our neighborhood does a really good job at coming forward and being bold and trying to take action and keep things safe. But there are many other communities where they don't have that luxury. So is there any questions on that note?
Yeah, I've got a question. It's Silicon Valley Crime Stoppers, which is predominantly, I was going to say St. Louis. Boy, where am I? San Jose. San Jose. But you know, so if somebody's in Mountain View, if they call in, do you cover all of Santa Clara County, or how does that work? Let's say, for instance, somebody's in Reno and they know who held up the liquor store at the, you know, South First Street, and they call into Silicon Valley. Are they eligible, or do
Yes.
you don't care where it comes, where the tip comes from?
Correct. So,
okay.
So just to clarify things, our program only serves agencies within Santa Clara County, and that does include the FBI. So that's a federal level, but if that FBI branch is here in San Jose and they're investigating a crime that happened in Campbell, we're definitely gonna get that tip and forward it over to the FBI in San Jose. That's an example. Now, let's say in your example, there's somebody in Reno that has a crime tip on somebody that committed a crime here in San Jose. We will definitely forward that information because it has to do, it deals with an agency that we partner with.
Do you have any ongoing contacts or communications with the other Crime Stoppers groups other than I know you have an annual get together. Is there any facility to exchange information on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, so we have a parent program, which is the Crime Stoppers USA. That's kind of like the big umbrella for us. So nationwide, if there's something like, and we've had this in the past where there is a crime tip coming, like let's say Reno, right? A crime tip came from another state and they push it on over to, let's say, Fresno. And Fresno's like, oh, this is not Silicon Valley. They will forward it over to SJPD. And once in a blue moon, I will get something and I will forward it over to SJPD as well. But it's all about the pushing of the information in the right direction.
How often does your board meet? What's the time commitment that's involved in serving on the board?
We meet once a month, but if there is an event that we're planning, it's definitely a lot more than just once a month.
And your sole source of revenue are those two events every year?
Yes, so it's actually been a little challenging this year since we haven't been able to fundraise, have our normal events. But we look for grants. So,
Oh,
you know, if the city of San Jose has grants, we will approach each council district and ask, you know, hey, can you support our program? One thing that happened this year, which was a little surprising for us, is our software. We pay for our software annually. This year, our software actually went up. It jumped in price severely because of the census, and it goes according to the population. So our software bill this year was $2,700. So we're, you know, we're going to foot that bill without a fundraiser. So we're definitely going to have to start pushing and be creative about where we seek our funding.
I personally learned something, you know, when I put out these little crime videos and circulate them, I generally, about at least half the time, I'll put, you know, call the police department, you know, the 311 number, or call Crime Stoppers. And I've just been listing the phone number, so I'll start listing the website as well when I do those videos.
The website is the best,
Yeah.
the best information you can give to the public and to other communities, because it is, you know, most of us have smartphones, and if we don't have a smartphone, you can always call that voicemail, and eventually somebody will get the message.
Yeah.
But there may not be a phone number to the person who may be scared and don't want to share a phone number, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a little more challenging.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought the phone. Yeah. So I'll change my little videos going forward.
No worries. Any other information on or questions regarding Crime Stoppers? I did go through I felt like I went through the presentation kind of fast. Sorry.
Anybody else?
Yeah, if there's no other questions, you guys can check out the website. The website has been overhauled as of last summer. It's looking really good, and I'm actually trying to do a feature on the website regarding cold cases. So we're working with other agencies and trying to retrieve their cold cases to help them out.
We got some nasty cold cases right here in San Jose.
Yeah, we do. Yes. Well, I want to thank you, Jeff, for reaching out and requesting this presentation. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, we're almost right on time. That's amazing. Okay, we're going to go to our board meeting now. So if you're you know, you're welcome to stay, but it's going to be boring board stuff.
Jeff, is it all right if I share something really quick from a coworker of mine?
Sure.
So she's doing an assessment of the Alum Rock Business District, and they are asking folks in the 95116 area. No, it's a zip code, not an area code. Just like a roller coaster is not a railroad. I said that earlier today.
I'll remember that.
So I'm putting the link in the chat now, but it's basically just a survey, and this is really, one, if you live in 95116 or know people who do, and two, if you shop the Alum Rock Corridor business district at all. So I'll just put that out there on her behalf, and if you want to fill it out, you can. And that's really it. Thank you if you have the time and availability to do it.
Thank you.
the rail. There you go.
Gosh.
Yes, the link is here. So the link that I'm putting up, it's a sites.google link, but it has all three languages, so English, Spanish, and Vietnamese on there. And I'll put also just the link on there too, so that it doesn't get lost in the rest of it.
Cool.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Liz.
Alrighty.
Okay, let's go on. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God, we are on time. Okay, okay, I'm still here. Let's share the screen. Let's do this. Share. Okay. Now it's what we used to start the meeting with. Do we have the meeting minutes for the previous meeting? I'm not sure that we do. Because Tom, you weren't able to even connect last time, right? Did we lose Tom?
That's right. Yeah, I wasn't able to connect last time. I finally figured out
Okay.
my little technological glitches.
Okay. Well, I recorded this meeting, so that can be the source of the minutes going forward. So we can't, I need some help with the parliamentary stuff, especially on a Zoom meeting. I don't know how to do all this. So what, we just suspend the reading and review of the prior meeting minutes because we don't have it? Do we need a motion for that? Somebody help me. Help me. Abject silence. Okay.
So what's the, so what are we proposing is to be the minutes for the last meeting?
I'm sorry, say again?
What are we proposing for the minutes for the last meeting? What would
Oh,
that
well, we're
be?
not, other than
Okay, so-
the recording. I mean, I could submit that as the official, well, it is, it's the official meeting minutes, but there's nothing that we can read here.
Okay, so why don't you send me a link to the recording for the last meeting, and I'll make up minutes for the last meeting and provide it for the next meeting along with the minutes for this meeting.
Okay, let me write that down. All right. Link to meeting. Okay. All right.
Also, do people remember how you, I mean, people are always putting interesting information on chat, but I forgot how you save chat, or, and I'm not used to using a Apple computer here for saving chat. Do you know how to save chat?
Tom, yes.
Yeah.
So if, do you know how to get to the chat? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're in the chat and you are in the box where it says type message here and you look to the right of that box and just above there are
Yes.
a little square with the 3 dots. If you click on that,
Ah.
it says, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
okay.
one way. There are other ways in the settings, but that's one of them.
Okay. That's cool.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
And then Jeff, you had a question about doing the parliamentary thing about making motions?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Well, one way could be to do the little raise hand feature, and that can be done by clicking
What?
on
You can go on the computer, mine's over.
Oh, I'm almost done
by clicking on participants.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, there's a raise hand, there's a little check mark that's for yes, or go slower, go faster, and then more for
Yeah.
like reactions and things like
Yeah.
that. So
Except I'm sharing the screen right now. It's showing the agenda here, so I don't see all that stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's fine. All right, so we got that. Okay, treasurer's report. Michelle, do you have anything for us? Michelle, I presume nothing has probably changed from last month. Okay.
Michelle, you're muted.
I'm going to stop sharing so I can see everybody here. Michelle, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so we have $2,025 in the bank. We still have $200 allocated for St. Isabel's. And we'll just keep that open until the end of the year.
Okay. Do we have any grants or anything that we have to do or fill out to get any money?
No, not at
Oh.
the moment.
Okay.
Do we have dues to pay for United Neighborhoods, or is that
Already
gone
done.
away? Done?
So your $200 is still available to feed.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of
Isabel's.
free fruit from people's gardens
Yeah,
for the last couple months. So
I've met your pastor there. He thinks I speak Portuguese,
he thinks a lot of stuff.
but he's a nice guy.
Yes, he is.
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, so do we make a motion to approve the, I don't, help me. Okay, so the treasurer reads the treasurer's report. I make a motion that we approve the reading of the, or whatever she just said.
We need a second. I'll
Yes.
second.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's,
Whoa. Tom, did you, what? Was there?
nothing.
Oh, okay. All right, let's get to the dumpster day. I know we talked about it before, but.
Jeff, really quick,
Oh,
we
go ahead.
haven't, we seconded the motion, but we need to vote on the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Yeah, you could raise your hand. You could do that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, motion carried. All right, thank you. Okay, let's talk about the dumpster day. I know we talked about it before, but I want to make sure we got it all done and we're ready to go. So we had we finalized the date? It was the end of April, what, 24th?
Yes.
Okay,
So Saturday, April 24th on North 28th Street.
North 28. Okay, yeah, the
And
same, yeah.
it would be a combined dumpster day with
Yeah.
the Ellender
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Okay, what are the forms that we have to fill out?
You would work with Patricia, who will set up the bins
Okay,
with PRNS to I believe we're going to get 6 bins because it is a combined dumpster day. So we just make sure that we're in communications with Patricia. Patricia did send over the do's and don'ts of the bins in an email.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much good to go. All we got to do is
so we're not gonna be buying any bins on our own? Is that
No.
correct? Oh, okay, so, all right, I'll circle back with Patricia and get all that filled out April 24th. You know I'm gonna be talking to you about this. Make sure that I don't forget
No.
something.
What
Yeah.
street again was that on?
I'm sorry?
North 28th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I will, I'll create a little map and circulate just to make sure we got the right spot, you know, before we start filling out anything.
The map is actually listed on the draft flyer that I sent via email.
Okay,
The entrance of the event would be from Julian, so north and
right,
on Julian, and the exit would be south East Santa Clara Street.
right. So they come in the north, so they'd be going, yeah, okay, that's like, yeah, I got it.
We're gonna set up in the southbound or lane
Yeah,
direction.
got it. Okay, so I will do that in the next couple of days. Actually, I should probably do it, today's Tuesday, I should do it before Thursday, because I get my second Pfizer on Thursday, and I had about a week's worth of reaction to the first one, so who knows, maybe the second one I'll have nothing, or I'll be laid up, and then it'll fall on the vice president's shoulders.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need a succession plan here.
Yes, we do. Well, it's in place. So Dee, you thought you were getting out of it, you may end up with it, because if I can prove to you that I'm running a temperature or something, you know, hey. All right.
So that's good though. We have a lender, emailed us waiting for us to confirm, so she
Okay,
can
okay,
gathering the
okay.
volunteers.
All right. I will fire all this up within the next day or two, get the stuff out. Okay, so that takes care of dumpster day. Neighborhood liaisons. Carrie, are you on the line?
I am here.
You got anything for us?
I do. The kind of, excuse me, underground tagging on to a different city event cleanup is happening on the 27th. Basically what we're going to do is just, we're adding dumpsters to what they're doing in the creek and getting the word out to neighbors that want to help clean up neighborhood park strips, and the kind of the way we're addressing it. I will know tomorrow for sure where all the dumpsters will be, but you can definitely count on Olander, William Park, the little parking lot there, to, go from north to south and dump that way. But I'm also trying to get, see if they can accommodate an additional dumpster at Roosevelt, at which point I'll send out an email to more Roosevelt neighborhood folks if they want to clean up the park there. But it's basically just grassroots and additional cleanup kind of thing, and I'll keep everybody informed.
Cool.
Hey, Carrie, how early can we start? Because I got another event.
I will know tomorrow. Whether they're dropping the dumpsters off the night before or the morning of. If it's the morning of, it should be 9 o'clock. If it's the night before, we can go as early as we want.
What's the date for that?
It's the 27th.
March 27th.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. You know what I did skip entirely? It's the bullet point where we have parks and environment, public safety, transportation, planning, and code enforcement, but we probably don't have anybody from those departments. Do we have any other official topics?
I think we're taking bets on when all that crap that's in 3 of the intersections on San Antonio gets run over.
I drove through there again, and it's all built up. Yeah, they got the, what do you call them, the pylons or whatever.
Those aren't exactly bollards. Those are
the bollards. Yeah.
Well, the bollards are more sturdy than those. Those are really just flappy reflectors and signs.
Then they're not gonna last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've got a side bet going when the first one gets tagged too.
Yeah, tomorrow. I got tomorrow for $5.
There was another.
And not me, in green.
I don't know if you all heard it or saw the video, but there was a shooting 16th and East San Fernando again. 5 shots, and this one, I was surprised. I checked this morning and the police report was already on the website, so they did respond to that.
Cindy lives right near there.
Yes, she is right around the corner.
Right, a block down, block on the next, wow.
Yep.
Speaking of that, I attended for a little while today. There was a thing on the AOT and Laura's Law, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It basically was a nonstop lecture, and then they were going to have breakout rooms, and I dropped out. I was very upset because it seems to me, this is just my impression, that the county is going through the motions because they have to engage the community. So this is the 3rd one, and they're checking that off, and so they're getting input from the community. I still don't know where they stand on it and why they would possibly want to opt out. So I was quite disappointed in the meeting, and I did not. It was, I think, a 3-hour meeting. I just stayed for half an hour.
You know, along those lines of government and what the hell are they thinking? You've probably all heard that Santa Clara County now has a shortage of COVID vaccine doses.
Yep.
And yet the county opted out of the Blue Shield program, which almost everybody else in the state, all the other counties are signing on to, because that's the preferred way of receiving your doses. The counties receiving their doses. So it's kind of a catch-22 right now that we opted out of the state program directed by Blue Shield because we have a better system, and yet we can't get the doses to distribute through our better system.
Yeah.
And this actually came through our supervisor's office. Someone told me that we have a shortage of doses. The rest was my editorial commentary.
Yeah, no, I'm well aware of the shortage. And,
what is San Mateo County doing? Apparently they're going gangbusters.
Say again?
San Mateo County,
Oh.
they're apparently going gangbusters if they're getting people vaccinated.
Well, I'll tell you, I was shocked that I've told the story before. I'll tell it again, that I wanted to wait and get it through Kaiser because I didn't want to wait in line or get stuck in a room with 1,000 people. But Kaiser was just saying, hey, we're not getting any supply and not getting any supply. And then at the last minute, February 25th, or 24th, I get the email, oh, make your appointment. So I did and went down the next day. We got our first shot, and they made the appointment for the 18th. I'm presuming that they have, that Kaiser has enough shots for the follow-up appointments that they've made. So I'll let everybody know. Any
So
anybody a veteran? Because I've heard that veterans are going, they can actually go to, oh, I know what it was. It was veterans in Santa Cruz County were going to, I don't know if it was San Mateo County or Contra Costa, and they could go right in and get a shot. Because Santa Cruz was low.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's where the Vets Hospital is.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of weird stuff going on. I mean,